Alright, hello and welcome. Today we are going to just go through the patch notes that got released today, which is March 17th. I figure I would do this even though I'm quite behind on what I have published in my playthroughs on YouTube at the point of this recording. I'm probably at like episode 66 or 67, so I've obviously progressed way farther into the game than what I already have on my channel. But I figure there are some very interesting things here that worth that is worth talking about. Yeah. So, added a function to record an icon and the name of an NPC on the map when you encounter that NPC. Seems very useful. You don't have to, I guess, mark them by yourself all the time. And also you will know their name. Very helpful. Because if you remember during my playthrough, I tried to push for the idea of like maybe having a marker that you could enter your own text to, like, you know, you put on the marker icon, then maybe if you hover over, there's like a character limit, whatever, doesn't matter, and you could put in your own text to write some important notes about that NPC or who is that and stuff like that. I don't know, patches is here, like do this, do that. Then added NPC Jar-Bairn, a completely new NPC, huh? This is surprising and I will get into this further. Maybe he, given the name Jar-Bairn, like, you know, it may not imply he's a jar person, but maybe he's in Jarburg. If he is, I don't know, we have to find him. Other new quest phases for the following NPCs: Dialos, Nephelilu, Kenneth Hay, Gatekeeper Gostok. This is extremely interesting for me. Why? Well, does this imply that they just forgot about their quest phases? Was it blocked for like some weird reason so they could extend the lifetime of the game and encourage players to play it again? Was this just an accident? Was this something new? Like, I don't know how you talk to Dialos, because Dialos for now, for me, is, well, I won't spoil it. I don't have Dialos, but I don't think he's dead yet. Nephelilu is that hero character, the girl. And for like, I don't know, 50 hours now, she keeps saying the same line for me. And I was wondering, I keep mentioning that, what is wrong with her? Why isn't her quest line going forward? And probably this is the reason. Then the other person who I kept checking, if you remember, for a very long time is Kenneth Haight. This is that noble, I think, who tried to employ demi-humans into his service, and he's looking for a new lord in Limgrave, I think. But I also visited this guy a bunch, and it was just simply nothing. Very interesting, you have to check it. Gatekeeper Gostok. Gatekeeper Gostok, I think, is the name of that hollow or tarnished or undead or whatever you want to call them NPC that is near the Stormwell castle, and he switches positions once you do the castle. I won't get into spoilers, but now maybe we can do something with him. Who knows? Very interesting as well. Added some summonable NPCs in multiple situations. This is probably to help new players who are struggling with like bosses, I guess. If I were to guess who the summons are, you can probably assume it may be Lionel, or it may be that Land of Reeds guy, or Tragot again. Probably those people who you can summon near the Radan fight. Increased the number of patterns of objects players can imitate when using the mimic spell. Probably useful, because I think you can only turn into a box, a barrel, a statue. I have not really tested this enough to know for sure. Added night background music for some open field area, or areas, I guess. Which is interesting that they do this so late into the game. And that is why I pointed this out too. Like, Because if you think about it, if these things didn't, like, I don't think these are new, right? Because then they would have to like find the voice actors, record new voice lines only under like what, 2 or 3 weeks, and develop their whole quest phases. Something is very strange with this. Then I just want to go over some other interesting ones. Fix the bug that sometimes prevented the player from obtaining item after boss battle. Seems like a pretty serious bug to me. Fix the bug that causes dialogue to be skipped when talking to NPCs and using custom key configurations. I don't think it's necessary the custom keys, it's just the fact when you use a keyboard as well, because since the beginning I had to switch to my controller, which is right next to me, whenever I talk to an NPC, just so it wouldn't skip a line. So whenever in my playthrough you see me like super fast skip a line, that's not me, it's the game doing it when I'm accidentally using the keyboard. Fix the bug that causes the player to freeze when riding. This is something I have encountered probably 3 or 4 times. It's an extremely annoying one. Sometimes your horse wouldn't even get properly summoned and stuff like that. Like, you would be still able to walk and your horse just gets summoned and desummoned behind you and stuff like that. But this is another one when you are just riding and you get stuck in the air in riding position, and the only option for you is either to wait for you to die if you are in combat. If you are not, you will just get voided, I believe, after a certain amount of time. Or if you are not in combat, you can just teleport away to the nearest grace or wherever you want, and that also, well, I guess fixes it. But this was quite annoying, this bug. Fix the bug that causes arcane to scale incorrectly for some weapons. I don't know if this is a nerf or a buff. I cannot comment on that because I do not use arcane. But from what I've seen, arcane is pretty powerful in PvP, because arcane is related to mostly the blood stuff. In situation where the player cannot obtain more than 2 talisman pouches, add the talisman pouch to Twin Maiden Husk's shop lineup. I wonder why it's phrased this way. Like, could you skip a lot of the game without obtaining them? Well, I know what triggers a bunch of them to be obtained. I don't want to get into like spoilery stuff. This is interesting. I will check my own maiden in case I can buy an extra. I doubt it, but I have 4 in my current time. I don't think you can get up to 5, but what do I know? Fix the bug that prevented the user from warping to sides of grace from the map of the endgame. Okay, I'm not going to read those. There's one. Fix the bug which causes some weapons to have incorrect scaling after strengthening. I've noticed a lot of them has pretty shit scaling, but that may have been my luck, or rather choice of weapons. Fix the bug which causes some weapons to not use stat scaling. Now that's pretty bad. Fixed hang-ups in certain occasions. So you have seen this during my playthroughs. Whenever I would cut the recording just so it wouldn't get corrupted, because my first corruption happened this way, there was a massive hang-up, and then 10 to 20 minutes of the episode was just straight up deleted because of that. It's quite serious. Your game just freezes basically for a couple of seconds, and then if you are recording, it's bad. If you are not, it's, well, not pleasant to look at, let's just say that. Adjusted the visual effect of unseen form spell. I don't know if I have shown you this on the camera, because I only ever tried it once. And I complained about that you can barely see how invisible you are. Like, you can barely tell and barely see how invisible you are. You are see-through for sure. If you go up real close to a tree and you look through your own body, you can see the tree behind it. That's how I tested it. But it just kind of seems, your character kind of seems like it's just deterred, you know? Like that dithering effect that happens when you get close to big objects, so you could still see your full character in front or next to them. it seemed to me that was the same effect they were using, and invisibility was quite hard to even tell. I hope this also extends to not just the unseen form spell, but the other concealment items and effects as well, because it's just super hard to tell. Now, this is what I wanted to get into. Deleted the ragged armor set from the game, which was mistakenly obtainable in previous patch. What do you mean it was mistakenly obtainable? Why would they put in a full ragged armor set and compare this with this other new quest phases? Are they just artificially locking some content? Like, you know, or I don't know what's going on. Like, some of this may be DLC related, you never really know, but why is the DLC already in the game? Don't they have to make it? You know, you just question these things. And I did see, I forget who was the creator. I saw this thumbnail with the possible deleted arenas, I think. Like, this person was showcasing... I only saw the thumbnail and the title, and it was about possible DLC arenas or something, like cut content. Or DLC, just as we had in Dark Souls 3. So these are extremely interesting for me. I don't know what to really make of that. I'm feeling some kind of conspiracy. Anything else? Fixed bugs which causes incorrect visual and behavior for some enemies. Nah, I really hope this means that low frame rate and invisible enemies. Cause just yesterday I think I was fighting this death bird. It's not a spoiler because there are many death birds. But its animation was at like 10 frames, and my summons and me was at like, well, I won't say 60, because at that spot surely the game did not run at 60, so probably like 40. Fixed a bug that causes incorrect stat parameter for some armor. Probably quite serious, if you think about it. Fixed bug which causes incorrect visual and behavior for... Oh, I read that already. Text fixes. Other performance... Oh, text fixes. I just yesterday acquired something very confusing, which I have to check again. Other performance improvement and bug fixes. I just hope the game runs better, man, honestly. Now, a couple more. Increased the drop rate, these are balance changes. Increased the drop rate of smithing stone for some enemies. Added smithing stone to some early game shop lineup. I think these are quite useful in case you wanna experiment with more weapons. I was experimenting with a lot of weapons, if you remember, at the very... Well, I won't say the very beginning, for quite a long time in my playthrough I kept switching stuff out because I refused to upgrade past +2 because I wanted to do invasions, but then I was like, fuck it, I just do it sometime else and probably on another character. Increase the damage for all offensive crackpot items. Probably a good addition. I never used them anyway. Maybe now I will. I highly doubt it. Another, which is quite good. Increase the effect duration for the following items. Uplifting aromatic. This is your bubble perfume. And the iron jar. I think the uplifting aromatic was fine. It lasted for quite a long time. Not as long as the bubble you get from the wondrous flask. But the iron jar aromatic, I felt like it was quite short. And given how effective this is, and the materials needed to craft it, which obviously you could farm, but you don't naturally do much farming with the iron jars, because you need living jar fragments, and you get those from the big pots. So the iron jar aromatic, I feel like, because it does not negate as much damage as the iron flesh skill used to in previous games, because this is, let's be honest, this is the most direct comparison for this ability or this perfume those spells in the previous games, which basically allowed you to just face tank any boss, like almost any boss, if they weren't too fast, because you cannot walk like faster than a granny. So I like this change because Iron Jar runs out pretty quickly, and in Elden Ring it does not block as much damage as it used to. Reduced FP consumption and increase the damage of the following sources. So all out buff for all the Comet Shard, the Comet, and Night Comet. When I unlocked the Comet, it was a disappointing spell, because by the time I unlocked it, it barely did any damage. Like I tested it, I think a couple episodes ago, and a couple episodes ago from the time of this recording, you know, so you have not seen me test it, but it was ass at that point of the game where I unlocked it. But obviously you can get it earlier if you put more points into Int, which I have not done. The Comet is not to be confused with Azur's Comet, which is the Shuptewhoop spell. So all out buff, I think this is okay, although I feel like Comet Shard was quite strong already, but most of the spells I feel like they fall off late game. Well, not most, but quite a lot of them. Increase the damage of the following sorceries. Gravity Well, that's the pull gravity spell, which is okay. Collapsing Stars, I don't know that spell, so I should ignore that. Crystal Barrage. Crystal Barrage was, I think, only effective from like weapon, like melee range. It's kind of like a shotgun. I think if this is the spell I'm thinking about, then I only ever used it as a shotgun, and then I was disappointed with it. That increased FP consumption for quite a lot of sorceries. Very interesting, a lot of sorcery buffs, when seemingly the mages were already like pretty powerful, but the FP consumption on them was quite high, especially the Gavel. The Rock Blaster 2 was quite annoying. I tried both of these and then just stopped. The Great Bow was maybe a bit much, yes, I could agree with that. And raise projectile speed and range of Great Glintstone Shard, which is nice because the range was just slightly shorter than the Ambush Shard, I think. So now we can properly use this to like rely on like a long range spell, which is nice. And anything else? Other enemy and weapon balance changes. Oh, this one. Decrease the damage of spirit summoned when using the item Mimic Tirash and change the spirit's behavior pattern. Now the phrasing on this is quite strange. It's almost like how I speak my English sometimes when I don't focus. But I think this is basically just a nerf for the Mimic. And should it be nerfed? I think so. Why? Because you can really abuse the Mimics. You will see this in like my, well, how should I put this? I guess I will just say the number. It will be probably in like episode 66 or 67 or 65, somewhere along there. You will see. Trust me, it's quite OP. So that's about it. As I said, I'm very sus about this. Like all this NPC related stuff and the Ragged Armor set related stuff. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling maybe if we do not get new DLCs, then they will just add stuff to the game like it was an MMO. So strange, so strange. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show you guys and talk a bit about it. I don't know, share me your opinion about it without spoilers, please. Well, not just because of me, but for everyone else in the comments. So, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Also watch my playthroughs, it's quite fun, you know, it's long. Sometimes I'm boring, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I have high energy, sometimes I just shut up. Bye. Alright, so this is related to the patch notes. Alright, so I just came back and checked a few things since the game got updated, and I will link this to the episode I will make about the patch notes. I think this is the new NPC giving all the messages and all the influx of the phantoms that I see coming over here. And you could talk to him. I will not talk to him because I'm doing the playthrough. Also ignore my outfit. I just put this on for fashion for you guys. And one other thing I have noticed. So in case you do not know, Jar-Bairn is here. Okay. It's here next to the Karian study hall. Now I could also show you what merchants being marked means. You see, I put all these markers down. If I remove it, they are marked naturally. So there you have it. I don't think the regular NPCs are marked, because if you come here and look here, see? The regular NPCs are not marked. I think it's only the merchants here. Well, for one, this is a minor thing. It's not, this one is not renamed. Instead of purchase, it's receive equipment of champions. But this is not the thing I wanted to show you. The thing I wanted to show you is bell bearing 2. Pidia's bell bearing. Oh, by the way, I can't buy the talismans. The talisman pouches. I checked. You know, I have 4, so I'm not going to open my inventory or anything. So, look here. Pidia's bell bearing. I think this is a new item. A simple, badly weathered map, left discarded and forgotten for some time. Further details are available only to paying customers. And Pidia, for me, was dead after discovering this. And as I said, I'm pretty sure this is new, so you could go and look for every other merchant you encountered so far, just to make sure they don't have new inventory. Now, where would you find Pidia? For those of you who are interested, I will show right now. So if you are not, please go away. And also I will show something else about the Volcano Manor boss item and the Great Rune. Okay? So go away if that's spoilers for you. Bye. See you. Now, I will still try and spoil as less as I can. So you find naturally, I don't know how many of you missed him. So I will just show where you would find Pidia. Alright, so you have done the quest. Probably in the Three Sisters territory, you know, you are up here and everything, you did the fight. And then this Scarab up there exists, so you would be guided here. Then you just drop down real carefully, because you don't want to roll when you are light. I didn't realize how far you can roll when you are light. You come down this ladder. Oh, and Pidia is right here. I know he is not here. Here's Pidia, okay? That's where you get it. Then I think that's all. Yeah, that's all I wanted to show you. Oh, no. One more thing. So this is for only of you who did the big thing at the Volcano Manor, okay? So if you haven't, this is just a correction with an item, okay? So avert your eyes if you do not want to see my inventory. It's here. The description on this says, restores HP upon defeating enemies. And its blessing restores HP upon defeating enemies. Now it is corrected. Yesterday, this said that the main description here said, restores HP upon, I think, attacking enemies or something. So it was contradicting with itself. Now they corrected it. So it's basically the same as the talisman. And that's it. That's it. I probably won't post anything new I find. I will just keep playing the game myself, as I should and as I would. And you have to find out the other stuff from someone else or on your own. I highly suggest you visit the merchants and see if they have new inventories. You never know, since Pydia had one, but Pydia is kind of a special one, so who knows? Right, one more thing. Unseen form. Now you see me, now you see me less. But it actually works now. As I said, it was really bad before. Now you can tell that you are invisible, right? Sort of, I guess. It should extend to the horse too, if you cast it. If I figure out how to do so. Yep. Oh wait, does that mean... That's funny, because that means in PvP... Well, never mind, because you can't summon your horse in PvP. Never mind, never mind. I just figured this would look funny if it didn't extend to the horse. And then you would just have a horse riding around. Well, that's it. Bye!